You probably know the age-old saying that when there is a gold rush, you should not be the one searching for gold, but you should be the one selling the shovels to that gold rush. However, today we're gonna go one step further because we will not take a look at the company providing these shovels for the AI rush, which for example would be Nvidia, but we're gonna take a look at the company growing the trees for the company that makes the shovels for the AI rush. I'm gonna share with you our outlook on ASML. Hello and welcome to HKSM Global. My name is Joe, and as just mentioned in the intro, today we're gonna take a look at the Dutch company ASML, which is dominating the market when it comes to manufacturing machines, lithography machines for the manufacturing of AI chips or for every single microchip out there. If it comes to cutting edge technology, there is no company even close to ASML. If you want to build chips for cheap electrical toys, yes, of course, there's companies out there. If you want to build chips for just an average TV, for example, there's companies out there, plenty. But if it comes to real cutting edge technology, ASML reigns supreme above them all. And I would love to go in depth in how that process works, but that would of course completely blow up this video here. That's why I decided to link a video down there for you that goes into great detail on how computer chips are manufactured. If you are interested in that, go take a look at that video right after this video here. But in a nutshell, basically what happens is for high-end computer chips, for high-end microprocessors, you need silicon, a super thin sheet of silicon, and what happens then is you need a super complex, ultra precise machine, a lithography machine, and this machine then with a laser burns onto that silicon, basically like an electric circuit board. It burns lines and circuits on this super thin silicon sheet, and then on those lines that it has burned into the silicon, electricity can flow and computational operations can be run as a result of. That's what happens in a nutshell. And this in and of itself is not a complicated process at all. However, if we are talking high-end cutting-edge technology, of course, you would benefit from making those circuits and those chips ever smaller and smaller, because the smaller a chip gets, the shorter the distance is that electricity has to travel, and therefore the lower the energy consumption is. Therefore, the more efficient the chip is, therefore the more power you can put into a chip without it overheating. And of course, without it driving up your energy costs. So huge benefit there. However, currently in this point in time, we have already reached a stage where in every average smartphone out there, you have over 100 billion transistors. So those little circuits that I just described on a single chip that is then afterwards the size like this. And if you put 100 billion transistors, 100 billion circuits on an area the size of your thumbnail, you can imagine that it takes some genius level precision without any measure of error whatsoever. And that's the tricky part. And that's where ASML comes in exactly that technology. ASML reigns supreme, and every single high-end chip out there in the world as of today is manufactured through a machine provided and maintained by ASML. So every single development out there in AI, every single development in large language models, every single innovation by companies like Nvidia that provide chips, every single huge cloud computing farm that is built nowadays that drives profits of ASML. So starting here from our dashboard, I would go to analyses, and over there already you can see the Euro Titans package. By the way, Euro Titans package, also a new package, only launched 2 months ago, I do believe. And if you're interested in that, down there in the description, of course, there's a link taking you to our website. 200 analyses on a daily basis, 200 markets, shall I say, which we analyze on a daily basis. You will get updates, push notifications, you will get entries to our model portfolio, and you will get the full portfolio management provided by us. Of course, we do not trade for you, but we give you exits, entries, scenarios, risk management, all of that. And if I then am here in the dashboard in the Euro Titans package, I can see already yesterday there was an analysis update on ASML, and I can go through the scenarios here. I can read some great explanatory text giving me key support levels, resistances, and so on, and all our scenarios with probabilities to those scenarios. But of course, you do not need to stop the video right now and read all this text, because that's what I'm gonna do for you right now. So in this case, starting off then with the 4-hour time frame. So on the 4-hour time frame, we conclude that back in July of 2024, at the most recent all-time high for ASML, we have seen a corrective B-top, and ever since we have been here in this channel then, leading into this wave C low here back in April of this year, which then in return concluded the overreaching wave 4, which means that right now in this current count, we conclude that out of this wave 4 low here in April of 2025, we have so far seen a wave 1, a wave 2 correction, a 3, and we now should have finished the wave 4 and should be off to the races in our upcoming wave 5 here, completing the overreaching wave 5 to follow here this wave 4 that I just shared with you in April of 2025, and therefore concluding the long-term overreaching wave 1 top. So from current levels, we of course see headroom, but we're only talking about headroom in the area of 25 to potentially 35%. So not so much more room to grow. And if that sounds discouraging to you, there's a little caveat to that, which I also want to share with you. So as of this most recent move here, there has been another scenario opening up in the chart, and that's what I'm going to show you right now here on our weekly time frame. So overall, this is the wave 4 low that I showed you before on the 4-hour chart, and this then here is the following wave 5, resulting in the overreaching wave 1 top, which of course then in return would lead to a following wave 2 correction, a rather long and rather deep wave 2 correction here in the market, here in the stock of ASML, with potentially somewhat of a 50 to 60% sell-off. This is what we see here on an Elliott Wave basis. So with Elliott Waves, what we do is we analyze market structure and we analyze market psychology. And even though tech is evolving fast, human psychology doesn't evolve that fast, meaning market moves are oftentimes driven by human psychology. And this market psychology is the same back in 1930, back in the 80s, and is the same in 2025. And based on that market psychology and those moves which are reflected in the price, we conclude our scenarios and target zones. And as I just shared with you here, with this most recent move, this most recent correction, which is pretty small, we have also opened up another scenario here for ASML, which would be a beginning of the sell-off right now. So this would then mean that we have in fact already seen the wave 1 top, so the wave 1 top that we in our primary scenario expect here in the ending of the wave 5. Our alternative scenario here is that we would have seen the alternative wave 4 here, the alternative wave 5 then up here, and therefore the alternative wave 1 top also back here in July of 2024 already. And we would have seen not a wave 4 with a wave 5 to follow, but we would have seen a corrective A wave, a corrective B wave, and then a final corrective C wave to follow through, already right now taking us to new lows, and already right now being on the way to establishing the long-term wave 2 low in the market. So this scenario just opened up with a probability of 33% currently calculated. However, as soon as we manage to climb above this resistance here at 1,022 euros, because this stock here is charted at the Euronext Amsterdam Stock Exchange, therefore prices in Europe rather than in US dollars. So as soon as we manage to climb over this resistance here at $1,022, this scenario then would be off the table, and we have pure confidence that we are gonna go through with our primary scenario, establishing a wave 5 top of the overreaching wave 1, somewhere in the area between 1,200 to 1,300 euros. So then if you are interested in ASML yourself, or you have yet not invested into ASML, but you say to yourself, sounds like an amazing company, I need to partake in that, I would highly encourage you to pay close attention to this marker here, 1,022 euros. And as soon as this marker is conquered to the upside, or as soon as the price action is rejected as this marker, I would highly advise you to come back to this channel and look for updates on ASML, because I will be sharing them. Or of course, you are completely welcome to check out the link in the description down there taking you to our website, because in that case you will get daily updates as soon as they develop. And in this case, you will never need to wait for some random video popping up whenever I'm in the mood for it. So up until then, stay tuned, see you in the next one. Take care.